WeWork. Carla, you will never believe this. I've been shitting on WeWork for well over 6 months.
Ad nauseum.
Ad nauseum. Yeah. And the way John Dolder just said that with depression laced in his voice is exactly how it felt every time I said it.
Sounds like he's getting tired of hearing about the
you are,
WeWork.
right?
Yeah, when are they going to go under?
Sounds like pretty soon.
Just you wait. Actually, not necessarily.
Oh.
It's just been announced that SoftBank Vision Fund, these are the investors that basically fueled the WeWork drug party, is going to be injecting billions of dollars of capital to keep WeWork alive.
You know, I love the idea of WeWork.
Most people do.
Yep.
What have you been to a WeWork?
No, but I almost had to. I almost had to use one, and this is fairly recently. Quite honestly, I had never heard of WeWork, and it turns out there's a WeWork facility across the street from my office complex, and I almost had to fall back on them, and was delighted to find out that option existed.
So you did visit then to see what it's like?
Oh, yeah, actually, yeah. Visited, had an appointment, had everything all set up,
so you
and was relieved for that option.
What did you like most about it? Do you remember?
It was a very clean office facility, had the Wi-Fi connections, and so I could do it was a podcast for the book, as a matter of fact.
Oh, okay.
I couldn't do that in my office building. I had to go external, and I didn't want to have to take the day off to do it at home. And it's an hour and a half drive to get home, so it was right across the street. So, rah, WeWorks.
Okay, multiple things here, Carla, you just revealed. First of all, do you have a podcast for the book or no?
I've done several podcast interviews.
I thought you meant you would be doing a podcast as a host for the book.
No, I haven't gotten to that part yet.
Okay, so the office would have been for
my connecting to a host who is interviewing me on a podcast like you're doing.
Perfect, understood. Mm-hmm. Second thing, you drive an hour and a half to work?
Yeah, it's an hour coming in, and if I don't leave at 2 p.m, it's an hour and a half or longer to get home because of the traffic.
Wow.
So that's why I'm up at 3 a.m, out at 4 a.m, at my desk at 5 a.m.
Are you for real?
I'm for real. And then I leave at 2, hopefully.
What?
Anyway.
I was just checking to see if she was in frame, just making sure your shoulder wasn't blocking.
Oh, no, I don't care about that. She gets up at 3 a.m.
3 a.m?
Yeah.
Jesus.
Hey, no problem. I get home at 3 p.m. The day's still half there.
Oh, that's not bad.
No, not at all.
Fair enough.
So WeWorks. Let's go back to WeWorks.
No, you are interesting, Carla. You are very. I mean, you're an amazing human being. I would love to get up at 3 a.m. Many people fall asleep at 3 a.m.
No, not I. I'm a pumpkin come 7:30. I've got no nightlife.
Wow, I get that. I have 2 kids now, and I've been feeling that energy. I get really tired earlier because they just wear me out. My kiddos wear me out. So WeWork. All right. So SoftBank will be bailing. So, okay, just the backstory, right? There's the CEO. His name is Adam Newman, right? And this guy has been shady as F. I can't even say the F word with you, Carla. I have so much respect for you. I'm sorry. I just can't. Shady as F for months and months and months. He would buy buildings in his own name. Okay, so for example, the building across the street from your offices, he may have bought that building with his own money that he made from WeWork. He became very rich off WeWork. He would buy that building, all right, and then he'd take 5, 10, 15 floors and rent those floors to WeWork. He would be the landlord.
Oh, a little conflict of interest.
You think?
Yeah. What do you know?
And then this guy. My favorite one is this. I'm sorry, John. I know you've heard this a million times. But Carla's got to get up to speed. My favorite one is this. Because they were WeWork, Adam Newman went and bought copyright, I guess IP, like intellectual property or trademark. He trademarked the word we for corporate purposes and then sold that to WeWork, the company he was CEO of. So they can use the word we in a trademark way. And then he pocketed that. Now, that one he was forced to give the money back. But, so this guy's kind of a clown. All right. And so they finally, when they tried to go IPO last month, for $40 to $50 billion, meaning they wanted to sell the company to the public, to average people like you and me and John. Maybe our pensions would buy it, so on and so forth. Investors were like, I smell a rat. I smell rat poop. This is not good. They actually were able to sniff this one out. Unlike Uber and Slack, those IPOs have been in the dumps. And WeWork basically lost $39 billion in value in a matter of days. And their workers, many of their employees, who thought they were going to who were working there for years hoping for the big payday, are now not going to get paid. But Adam Neumann, after getting kicked out as CEO last month, I guess earlier this month, he's been asked to leave. He stepped down as CEO. And to get him to leave the board altogether, they paid him $1 billion.
Ouch.
This is a non-profitable company. They're burning cash like a furnace burns coal. $2 billion a year WeWork is losing. So this is the WeWork shit show part of the episode, guys. Can you believe it?
I believe it. It's unfortunate.
It is unfortunate. I think this is all a part of the culture we're in right now, which is there's a lot of cash sloshing around. An organization in Washington, D.C. called the Federal Reserve has done nothing but try and prop up the economy with cheap cash, cheap capital. And so this is part of that kind of bubble that's out there as a result, unfortunately. So WeWork employees are pissed. Adam Neumann's got out for $1 billion. The real story here is the people who are actually funding WeWork, who kind of fueled this whole thing, they're called SoftBank. This is a man named Masayoshi Son. He's a he's the second richest man in Japan. And he took $100 billion from investors, 60% from the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia and the United Arab Emirates, the Abu Dhabi Investment Fund, some other Abu Dhabi fund, a government fund. And so $60 billion of that money is sovereign wealth money. And I feel like I'm just droning on and on and on about this whole story. So maybe I'll just stop for a second. Does anybody give a shit about this?
I think this one's your passion, but
It is. I am so upset about this one, I must say.
Yeah, you sound like you have a personal vendetta against Adam Neumann.
This is like a 1 in a billion chance thing happening, and it happened, and so many people lost money, and I guess I'm just so bitter about it.
well, the concept was good. I wonder if part of the problem was did they overbuild the office space? Was supply and demand was part of the problem, and then maybe other competitors, similar services, did that hurt WeWorks also?
Exactly. That's exactly. I think they noticed that they had a cool thing, and they decided to basically expand into international cities all over the world, and they said, "Yeah, that's cool. Let's keep losing $2 billion a year."
The reason I ask is I remember right before the economy took one of the nosedives, the national economy, there had been this huge surge in construction of office buildings by hundreds and hundreds of thousands of square foot all over Houston, D.C., just huge, mammoth new office buildings constructed.
Is this before the last recession?
I think so.
It's about 10 years ago?
Yep. And then the recession hit, and you had all of these brand spanking new office buildings sitting vacant for a very long time because they overbuilt, and then the supply and demand thing hit. So I'm wondering if there was maybe a parallel between this and what WeWorks had done.
I bet that's part of it. But the thing is, they paid the landlords big dollars, and they built out all these cool office spaces, and they kind of build BILLED themselves as part of the new tech company like Amazon and Facebook and Google, and they're kind of like Regus, which is another office supplier, basically, kind of like a WeWork. They're not as cool. They don't have beer taps, so they tried to kind of build themselves off as that. Anyway, this Vision Fund, they're the largest. Basically, this is the largest type of VC fund, venture capital fund in the world. This $100 billion is huge. And you know, it almost feels like, in my opinion, Masayoshi-san, the guy who runs this vision fund, is on his way down. It feels like SoftBank has been trying to do this with Uber and Slack and others. And what they do is they just keep pumping cash into these companies, making them look like they're the next biggest thing. And everyone hears about them, and there's a whole lot of hype around Uber or WeWork. But the fact is, they're burning cash. They're actually not making money as a business.
Mm-hmm.
But he keeps doing it. And I think their hope is, well, we'll eventually IPO the company and make our money back. We'll sell these low-quality companies to the general public, and then we'll make our money back in our investment fund. That does not feel like it's happening. It feels like people are on to their shtick. And so the SoftBank Vision Fund could be on its way down. And just when I thought it was on its way down, recently what was announced is they're opening up a SoftBank Vision Fund number 2. This guy is doubling down on a turd.